It's the ocean, the moon, and we. It seems a bit crazy to run around trying to get all these things. But that's just my view, I won't impose it on you, 'cause that's not the kind of thing that righteous men do.
Alright, aloha friends and family. Morning, afternoon, midday, night, depending where you are. So, just back here again at my little drawing table. I'm gonna do another mandala because I don't need to go do anything else. It brings me peace of mind and it's an enjoyable thing to do. And I don't need any other reason to do it. So, there's that. Alright. So, I've been thinking a lot this morning about people's intentions. So your intention is basically what you aim to do, your goal, how you want to be perceived, how you want something to occur. And just really interesting because I'm sure a lot of people, myself included, what you want to happen, depending on how you set up the situation or how much energy you put into it, your intentions may become true or they may fall through. You know, there's always people have thoughts in their heads about, oh, I'd like to do this, or I'd like to do that, or oh, wouldn't this be nice, or oh, I hope this is how this turns out. And intention is great. You know, it's good to have good intentions. You want to have, start off by where you're in a place of people, believing that you're going to do a good thing, and you should be trying to do a good thing. You shouldn't be trying to swindle anybody or pull the hood over anybody's eyes. So hopefully your intentions are good, but even if your intentions may be super true, you've only want good things and don't wish harm on anybody, your actions, what you actually do, what it turns out you may be operating and doing in this world, may be going against your intentions. So, this is where meditation and reflection and all of these other wonderful tools that you can use kind of come into play. Because that's where I think a lot of people, at least in my experience, that's where I've found disconnect or unhappiness, when my actions were separate from my intentions. What I wanted was not what I was doing, or what I was doing was not what I wanted. So, and for me, I kind of learned a lot about intentions and actions when I started eating a more plant-based diet. And for those of you who know me, you're probably tired of hearing me say how great it is to eat lots of plants and things like that, but hey, that's just how it is, that's how I feel, and like I said before, I'm not one to force opinions on people or make you do anything that you don't want to do. But I did notice an incredible change once, just like in my own personal happiness and personal bliss. I just never really realized how much violence there is in dairy and meat, and even though that you're not the one technically chopping the thing's head or slitting its throat or doing whatever it is, there is a karmic energy to that action, and it affects you whether you realize it or not. And this may sound insane and crazy to certain people, and that's fine. Like I've said before, we all have different perspectives and see the world differently, and I think that's enough color because it's a little dark in the middle. So I'll switch over to my pen now. But yeah, so your intentions versus your actions, and how even though you're not the one performing these things, karma does play a large role. And so karma, I'm sure you've all heard the term used before, but to me, karma is the basic just cause and effect. You know, this is what happened because of what you did or what just happened or so on and so forth. And like I've said before, in this world, no matter what you do, you're going to have an effect, whether you like it or not. You know, we can try to be very minimal effect. You know, you can try to have the least, smallest footprint, if you will, that you can. But in reality, we're all going to create a footprint, you know, a mark, an energy that you leave behind. And I encourage you all out there, if you can, to try to make decisions within your life that are positive ones, that can bring about more happiness in your life than pain or other things. So, and for me, that has to do a lot with making art and creating things and just doing things that I want to do and that don't cause harm to anyone else or myself. And I think that's a big part of who I am on this planet, at least who I like to be for myself. I just don't like creating problems for people or pain. And if that can be avoided, I'm going to try and do it. So that's just how I operate. And like I've said, you're all free to do whatever you like in this world. And that's where a lot of people get fooled, because we're tricked into believing that, you know, we're being forced to do this, or we have to do this, or this is what's right or wrong, and you're the one who has to make these decisions at the end of the day. And so hopefully, based on the people that you are around in your cultural and social settings, you can learn and fit into that place in a kind and operating manner that isn't upsetting to people who are already there, or are also trying to live and create an existence in that place. And that's where, you know, as someone who, you know, I didn't thoroughly study biology or anything like that, but I do understand that biological diversity is a necessity for any organism or planet or whatever it may be. So to have this many people on this planet, you know, compared to whatever, dolphins or monkeys or whatever else it may be, chickens. Well, there might be a ton of chickens, actually. But, yeah, anyways, compared to, you know, other creatures, there's definitely, like, some sort of imbalance. Because I feel like for a long time, we were just, like, little blood sacks, little balls of meat, you know, for lots of different creatures, probably, you know, that were way more equipped to kill and hunt than us naturally, you know, a bear or lion, tiger, whatever it may be. I mean, alligators, holy crap, those things are gnarly. People talk about going to Costa Rica and surfing. I'm like, man, I don't know. I've seen those waves, they look awesome, but if there's crocodiles in the water, I don't know. And people say, well, you surf where there's sharks, you know? And I say, yeah, well, I guess I just don't really think about it. And in reality, I have seen 2 sharks now, 2 full-grown sharks, when I've been surfing, and it has definitely scared me as much as I've ever been scared in my life. I mean, the second shark that I saw truly, like, made me feel how insignificant I was, as far as just, like, my ability to be gone in that moment, because it was moving so fast in a wave. Luckily, it was far enough away from me, and I was, like, on a reef to where I could paddle in and, like, catch this wave in. But it's just, it definitely makes you be thankful, you know, and anytime you have just an adrenaline experience, I think it makes you thankful for life, but one that is that gnarly and makes that much chemicals run through your body to where you just can't go to sleep for like 8 hours after that is definitely something. Definitely something. And that has to do with, and kind of goes along with, your experience, right? What you've experienced in your life is going to determine what or how things are perceived to you. So the amount of times that you do something, say, the first time in my life that I went surfing, like, it was this crazy, new, exciting thing that was like almost indescribable by words. Whereas now it's still like this really awesome thing that I love to do all the time, still indescribable by words, but it's different and it's changed, and my perceptions of it has changed because I've done it so much. Where waves I used to think would be super dangerous and scary, where I'd never surf, because of the things that you've learned and the experiences you've had, you come to know that you can handle these things, or, you know, with the right equipment and information and all these things, you can conquer whatever your fears or challenges might be. And like I said, that's all about your personal experiences and what you decide is valid within your understanding. And hopefully you can kind of follow along with what I'm saying. Sometimes I get too metaphysical for some people, but yeah, anyways, I think I'm going to just add in a couple rows of color on this guy. Haven't been talking much about the art today, but that's alright. I think, me personally, I don't know the words, the saying exactly, I'll butcher it, but, and I don't even know who it was now that I think about it, but some first lady had mentioned how, you know, some people talk about people, or talk about things and this and that, and other people talk about ideas, you know, and for me, I just, that's where I'm at personally most of the time, is I really don't care about the gossip of this or that or this person or who's he, what's it. I usually just completely turn off once those kind of things start happening. But yeah, if we're talking about ideas and society and people or culture or you know, to me, I think personally one of the most fascinating things that I have observed in my short life is truly just the human condition all across. I mean, the way, just the variety of us is just a phenomenal thing. I mean, just physically, if you just look at us physically and our differences, it's incredible. But then you go and think about the individual person, like me and you, and it just blows your mind. Because that's like crazy, because we're all individual in so many different ways. And so, as far as biological diversity goes, we definitely have that in terms of, you know, different people looking different. But that also was as a result of our experiences in those environments for the thousands of years that different people lived in different places to change the amount of melanin we have in our skin and all these different things, depending if you lived up in the high mountains or if you lived at the sea level, depending if you lived more near the equator versus more near the poles, versus if you were raised in the east versus raised in the west. Maybe you had one parent who was raised with Eastern more philosophies and one parent who was raised with more Western philosophies. And you've met somewhere in the middle. And that's where I think there's a great advantage in you know, having differences of opinion, whether it's just with your, you know, your emotional partner who you're with and you guys have different opinions, or just everybody you meet, you know, different friend groups. And I think it's important to continue to have discussions and push the envelopes on different things. And I think it's always important to have discussions, you know, with people, to just talk about things, even if it's, like I said, I prefer to talk about ideas and different stuff, but I think what's really important, especially for a culture or a society to do, is to talk about their fears, the things that scare them, the things they're worried about, because a lot of the times we all have the same ideas running through our heads, that, man, I don't know if this is the right thing going on right now, or I don't know if this looks right, and but if nobody mentions anything, unfortunately, we are kind of lemmings in the sense that we just go along. And so I think it's very important that we always have people, you person right there, you could be that person. Be the people who, question things and always are not afraid to talk about your fears or what concerns you or things that you see, and I definitely think that's an important thing. It's not good to just ignore them or push down your fears or emotions, because that's how you become controlled. Unfortunately, you have a very shrewd, I guess it's kind of a word, very shrewd marketing culture in the United States, at least, that will definitely try and take advantage of your whatever, your own fears, your own sadness or issues or whatever it may be. Try to convince you you're unworthy or not living a life of value, and then try and come buy their stuff, make you feel better. So hopefully, I don't know, I've come to the realization, at least for me personally, that material things just do not fully set you free. I mean, as someone who obviously, there are some material things that are really great and definitely improve my life, like a surfboard. That is something that if I didn't have a surfboard, I'd be body surfing, and it's still awesome, great experience, but it's different, and I do need that physical thing to kind of carry me along that wave. But with all that being said and done, I can still, find true happiness even without a surfboard. If it came to that world, at least I would hope I could, because as I've said before in my videos, when you focus too hard on one thing, like, oh, I'm a surfer, or I'm this, or I'm that, you use so much brain power and energy to hold on to those things, and it just doesn't allow you to perceive other things for what they really are. And not that any of us can ever really perceive all things for what they really are. We can only do what we can with our individual perspective, but I just try my best to have a cleaner glass, if you will. It's kind of like we all have a pair of glasses on, yeah? And your glasses kind of determine how you see the world. And I think we all have an ability to clean those glasses. Not maybe fully, some of us more than others, but I'm going to continue throughout my life to try and assess my biases, what I think and why I think those things, or who taught me this thing, why did they try and teach me this thing, was it coming from a good place, did they want something from me, what is this interaction? So always good to question things and discuss your fears, and don't be afraid to speak up, because as I'm sure if you went to, at least in my experience in public school and teaching, there's always a question that half the class or the whole class has, but it just takes that one student to ask it. You need somebody to ask the question to find out the answer that we're all looking for. So there always needs to be somebody who's willing to ask the questions. So be brave if you're out there. Ask the questions. Try and answer them. I think that's one of the great joys in this life, is we get this opportunity to challenge ourselves and have this crazy Like, it's just so fulfilling to me to solve a problem. Even if it's just a small little issue, like, that's what we humans, I don't know, that's a part of our brain function, you know, is to find solutions to things. I think that's a big part of why we were developed in this way. But who knows? I think I said before, we are just monkeys on a ocean planet. So, but I do believe individual monkeys slowly but surely are learning more and more about lots of important things to help us come to an understanding about how and what we are. And that's all fantastic. Good stuff. More information, more understanding. That's what I think is important. But like I've also mentioned before, you know, it doesn't really matter if I understand something if I can't, you know, portray it to you or get you to understand it either. What good is this information if I cannot use it for anything other than my own personal, you know, well-being? At least that's how I see the world. I just feel like, you know, what good is this if it only does me any good, you know? How can we use this to help more people? And that's kind of why I've started this art channel, just to hopefully talk to my friends and family and inspire them to live a life of fulfillment. And already in this last week, I was super stoked, like, not even kidding, to have two of my friends, two people who I love very much, not buy some art of mine, which was awesome. I love that. But even more so, which I was more stoked about, was that two of my really good friends sent me pictures of their own art that they had been drawing, and they said they were semi-inspired because I'd been doing so much art lately, and I was just stoked. Absolutely excited to see those people's art that they did. So thank you guys for sending me your art. Made my day. I was just stoked to see people getting into the creative aspects of their own lives. Like I've said before, I think art can be a very good building block for just developing a creative and independent mind, and I hate to say it, but that may be a reason why it's not in so many schools nowadays, is because it does create independent thinkers. It does create people who, you know, see things differently. And a lot of, unfortunately, you know, people in power, they don't need people like that right now. They want people who want to have a job and work in there, whatever it may be. And that's fine too. We need those people, you know. We need people operating on all levels of this system if it, you know, really is going to work. So, but yeah, just really excited that people were able to do that. But like I was saying, I think art's just a great creative building block. Even though it's just creating this small little thing, it gives you that small incremental piece of information that you do have the ability to create something or to make something for yourself. And the more you do that, it builds up. It's like this powerful information wall, and then all of a sudden, it's just this huge thing where you're like, wow, I've done so many things, I've created all this different stuff, and why can't I go and do this? Even though it's a different creative process than this, I'm going to apply my same way of thinking to it. I'm going to have an idea, I'm going to document it, maybe going to make a plan, and then I'm going to do it. You know, and that's a powerful thing. Powerful thing for us human beings to acknowledge that we have the power to do, especially in this consumer culture that we live in, which, you know, it's great. Like, I mean, I don't want to complain because there's a lot of incredibly beneficial things. Like, I don't know, these Amazon drones, like if they can really send fresh fruits and vegetables and different things to places faster than before, and that would be incredible. But I do also encourage people just to be cautious about your consumer habits, you know, or just to be aware of them in the least. Be aware of your consumer habits and how they affect you and other things, because like I was mentioning before, we have a very strong media and marketing culture that will make you think that it's okay to be staring at a phone for 12 hours a day, or whatever else, whatever other screen you may have. So, and if you're sitting with me watching this whole video, however long it may be, I encourage you to go get outside afterwards. Go do something. That's what I'm gonna do. After I finish this up, I'm gonna have my little breakfast smoothie, and then I'm gonna go get outside, go enjoy some sunshine while I can, because I have the opportunity to do so, because I am a middle school teacher and I start work again next week. So I am going to try and enjoy my last week. So I'm almost finished up here with the inside color. Probably add, well, I don't know, maybe a little color on the outside. But what else? Oh, one physical thing in this world for my friends and family. So hopefully it works out. But I texted someone this morning about getting a Netherland dwarf bunny. They look super adorable, and they don't grow to be more than 2 or 3 pounds. And they eat a similar diet to me, other than hay. They eat hay and some sort of pellets, and they said just fresh fruits and vegetables. But they also like chopped greens, so like I need to give them some of that each day. So yeah, I'm around 2:30 this afternoon. I'm gonna go drive over to Pearl City and see if I can get a little friend for our house, a little bunny for our Holly. A little friend. Hopefully we can provide him with some comfort and love and support in this world. A little fella. So yeah, I'm excited to hopefully go do that around 2:30. $40. $40 make you bunny holla. Alrighty then. I'm gonna add what color to the outside? Maybe these. Okay, yeah. Let's go 2 at a time. Mix it up, Do something different. So just grab it. Shoom, shoom, shoom. Sometimes you gotta mix it up. Can't be afraid to be brave, do something new. Can't be afraid to fall in this world, That's how you get stronger. Only in that getting back up process, that's where you learn. It's like I see these certain people who surf, and everyone's got their own style, and people do their own things, whatever, that's great. That's the best part about it, is that people do different things. But I see certain people who always do, they just, I don't know, they're afraid to fall. They don't want to not look cool. They don't want to do anything that's going to, make them be perceived as whatever. And so I encourage you to humble your ego if you can, and try something new. Test it out. Don't be afraid to fall, Be silly. Be funny. Do you. Just whatever that is, I encourage you all to just be as real as you can. Do the little things. There's all these superhero movies out, so I'm sure a lot of people think they need to be like this incredible thing, but just do the little things you can in this life. Smile, be friendly, give people a compliment. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Aloha. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.